So over here in Guiding the Business, we have two kind of strategic documents to help with a strategic plan or a vision. There's this first one called Strategic Target Development. So this is in the library that you can go pull down if you don't have it already. This kind of gives you a step-by-step for how to create a strategic target. This isn't, this isn't a business plan. This isn't in a huge amount of detail. This is something that comes together pretty quickly if you follow the steps, and it becomes a really active, alive document which helps you to see your future vision. There was a recent blog post that's on our website now. If people haven't seen this, strategic planning. It goes into why it's important to have a strategic target, and then also talks in more detail about strategic planning and how to use the processes in TouchStone to do that. So this is more information on strategic planning. Again, this is on our website. But simply put, if you go through and follow the work plan, go through these steps, it shows you then how to use these uploaded files. There's an overview document. That's that white paper that I was talking about. There's a client sample here, so what it should look like in the end. There's a template. This template is also with a form down here. Is basically a series of questions that you answer. So you'd go through, you can even put this into edit mode and do it right here if you want in TouchStone. So you answer the questions, which then help you kind of shape up your strategic target. What are your sales goals? What are your direct costs going to be? What are you going to spend on sales and marketing? What are your fixed costs? What is your net profit goal? So you go through and simply answer these questions, and then take all the answers and fold them into a narrative document. And there's an example right here. The narrative is important. Strategic targets shouldn't just be, a series of questions and answers. You want to write it up into a narrative, because then you kind of see the story. And the story you're telling is your vision. And that vision, that story, then helps enroll everyone in your business. It influences everything. It influences your organization strategy, your budget, your people's morale, your recruiting and hiring. This is your story, and you want to get people on your bus going down the road. If you don't have a story, you don't have a direction, you don't know where you're going, you don't know who you're going to get. So this, if you create this document and then implement it and use it, it becomes a tremendous strategy tool that every great entrepreneur needs to have. This next tool from the library, called Strategic Planning, allows you to take your strategic target and go through a step-by-step process of implementing it. So here in Strategic Planning, there's some work plans in here which kind of give you, set the stage for this, how many meetings you're going to have, because the meetings then show what you've accomplished between meetings, what the agendas will be, how to track. There's a little more on creating a vision, a strategic plan. There's a little video. This form down here is kind of the heart of this. And it's really simple. If you're thinking this is simple, it is, and it's meant to be, because this isn't that, it shouldn't be that hard. If it's complicated, no one's going to do it. So you take your annual priorities from your strategic target. So the strategic target might be for like 2 or 3 years out there. So you want to think, what are your annual priorities to move you 1 year closer to that strategic target? Think about your budget. What are the financial goals? What are the hiring goals from your organization chart? What are your process development goals based on your hiring goals and your, your hiring plan? What are the tactical things that need to be accomplished in order for you to reach that annual goal? So think of the nuances of all of it. Think about the sales and marketing area, the operations area. What are the goals that need to be accomplished in order for you to reach your strategic target in 3 to 5 years? What are the annual goals? Put the annual goals into the spreadsheet. Then think quarterly. So you're breaking it down from there. So we're going from a 5-year goal to the annual goal to the quarterly goal. Think about what needs to happen in the first quarter. What needs to happen in the second and the third. You might then use this to delegate out, because if you know your quarterly goals are to develop a new sales process that will allow you to convert leads at 75%, And you know you need to then work with the sales manager or the sales department to then what are the actions you need to take on that. If you want to implement new advertising activities, if you want to implement a entry-level technician training program based on your organization chart, what are your goals there? So break these into the annual goals, and then each meeting, this is called the meeting rhythm or the agenda, is to discuss these quarterly goals. And clearly you would think, okay, monthly what is going to happen, so then what needs to happen every week. So break it down, and then in the end you're kind of tracking this on a quarterly basis. Here on the home screen, you have the ability to use all this inside of TouchStone. So if I go to the President's Control Panel here, here's that strategic planning process. Here's the budgeting one as well. So if I'm the President, I go to my Control Panel, I call up my strategic planning process, I'll go down to this agenda form, and here would be all my goals. So I fill these out, I'm tracking them, I'm monitoring them, and then I save it. Next week when I go back to strategic planning, I go here to the completed folder, there it is, I call it up, and I add more to it and do the next quarter. After each quarter is accomplished, you can look back and say what you accomplished for the year. Any questions about that? No? Everyone's being really quiet today, which is fine. So just to recap, start by fleshing out your 4 functions if you haven't already. Then go build your organization chart. Think about organization strategy and all the principles. Think about departments. Think about people. Go and create your strategic target if you haven't already. If you're a manager or an employee on the line right now, go ask the CEO, where's the strategic target? It's a good thing to have, and we all need it. Develop a vision for your department, if that's all you can get. Construct the organization chart anew. So if you've already done your organization chart in TouchStone, and based on what we said here today, you want to change it, go and change it. I have a question. It was a compliment, not a question. So there's a few questions here that I'm going to answer when we get off the phone, too. I'll send these people emails because they're not really related to what we're talking about today. But I just want you to know that I see those, and I'll answer them in emails. So build out this organization chart. Then that's going to set you up great for next week when we talk about job descriptions. So once your chart's built, your 4 functions list is built, then it's the time to go and build all the job descriptions. So this is the way to get TouchStone organized in its entirety before you would even start the documentation. Build the 4 functions list, get you a global picture of everything, build your organization chart, all the people for the future and now, then build all the job descriptions. And that's done by linking the processes from here to here, basically. And this loop, this closes the loop between the 4 functions and the org chart. Once that's done, this org chart becomes this beautiful picture of all of your positions and everything that every position is accountable for. Practically speaking, these job descriptions are very practical. They're not hiring documents. They don't describe qualities. They don't describe even characteristics. All that's about hiring. These are everyday, getting it done, efficient processes, training processes. So once everything's linked from here to here, then it's all about the documentation. It's all about getting each of these processes done one at a time. So next week we're going to talk about how to build the job descriptions in TouchStone, which is pretty straightforward. And then we're going to talk more about how to use job descriptions in TouchStone. Job descriptions, I've been a manager for a long time. They are the paramount management tool. They are the essential management tool for every manager. Because a manager's job is to manage processes by which people get results and to train those people on those results. So the job descriptions are everything. They're your manual for that. They're your agenda form for that. They're the way to be successful as a manager. So we're going to talk a lot more about that all next week. So thanks for coming, everybody. Bye-bye.